Hi, I'm Devi Ward, and I am the founder of the Institute of Authentic Tantra Education, and I am going to talk with you today about healing with the modality of Authentic Tantra. What is it and how does it heal? So Authentic Tantra is a holistic healing modality that's rooted in the Tibetan 5-element tantric teachings. In our previous videos, I reviewed what those tantric teachings were and how the 5 elements work to catalyze healing on the level of body, mind, spirit, and sex. So these 5-element teachings have been woven into this holistic modality that includes what we call the 4 pillars. And the 4 pillars are meditation, movement, connection, and pleasure. And each of these 4 pillars, the 4 pillars are like a foundation. And each of the 4 pillars has a method or a tool or a technique associated with it. So I want to show you a picture of how these methods work to actually catalyze healing on every level of your being. So this is a picture depicting your infinite self and your relative self, your human consciousness. So when we are born, we come into this world fully connected with our infinite consciousness, that part of our self that never dies, that depending on your belief system goes to heaven, lives forever, is reincarnated, reborn, whatever your particular spiritual belief system is, that's your infinite consciousness. So we are born into this world with that fully intact and fully present. This represents your relative self, your relative reality. So when we're born, infinite self and relative self are in clear communication. Okay, there's no filters, there's nothing in the way. So for those of you who have children or have been around infants or newborn babies, what do you see when you look into their eyes? There's just the universe staring back at you, right? There's no filter. When there's joy, there's pure joy. When there's upset, there's pure upset. There's absolutely nothing in the way. It's like, I like to say, it's like looking into the eyes of God, right? But unfortunately, our entire experience of being human means that we begin to establish structures of separation. We begin to, and we need to learn how to differentiate between myself and others. This pen is not me, because when we're infants, I am the pen. There's no separation. There's just one thing. It's like one big pea soup that we're all floating in, right? So in order to function in this world, we have to begin understanding separation. Unfortunately, though, some of those ways that we begin to learn separation are traumatic and painful. And so they leave marks, they leave wounds, they leave scars. And they build up over a period of time. So that eventually, by the time we are adults, we are trapped out here in our relative consciousness with all these obstacles, with all these blocks to being able to perceive and connect with our infinite selves. So this is where the 4 pillars come in. The 4 pillars are a modality, they are a method, they are a tool for reconnecting the relative self with the infinite self. So the 4 pillars again are movement, meditation, connection, and pleasure. And each of the methods associated with the 4 pillars cut a pathway through all these obstructions, all these blocks, like we talked about in a couple of our other videos, those blocks and those energy channels. It cuts through those blocks to bliss and creates a pathway for your infinite self to manifest, to shine through, so that you can connect, so that you can perceive, so that you can again be connected with your infinite truth, that part of you that is infinite, free, expansive, love, joy, and is eternal. And we gain access to that aspect of ourselves when we're able to cut through these obstacles, these blocks to bliss. The methods of the 4 pillars allow us to do this because they connect us with the infinite wisdom of the body. In Tantric Buddhism, the body is considered to be Buddha. And what that means is we don't need to escape the body to realize enlightenment. It's actually about being fully present and fully embracing the physical experience. All wisdom is inherent in the human form. And so if we're able to access that as deeply as possible, that wisdom will naturally arise and be able to permeate and flow through. The 4 pillars of authentic Tantra give us methods and tools and techniques to cut through those blocks, those obstructions, to help us access that infinite wisdom that resides within us and free it and allow it to flow through and into the world and into everything that we do. And that is the modality of authentic Tantra. And by practicing the modality of authentic Tantra, you'll experience more pleasure, more joy, more connection, more peace, and ultimately more love in every area of your life. And we really emphasize and focus on incorporating our sexuality into these practices because our sexuality is one of the areas of our deepest wounding and pain as a society and actually as a planet. Human sexuality has been shamed, it's been oppressed, it's been repressed, it's been criminalized for centuries. And so if we continue to ignore it, that allows for abuse, it allows for dysfunction, it allows for dis-ease. And so tantric teachings are a way of reintroducing a sense of sacredness and presence and power back into our human sexual experience to be able to harness and utilize those energies for the purpose for which they were created, as a pathway to the realization of enlightenment. That is your sexual potential. That is the purpose of human sexuality, and understanding how to do that is your birthright. And that is all.